Your home row positions. Right middle finger goes on the 5. Usually, there is a raised dot on this key to help you locate it by touch. Pointer goes on the 4, ring finger on the 6. The pinky does the enter key video. Pointer 4, middle finger 5, ring finger 6. Pinky enter. Middle 5, pointer 4, ring 6, pinky enter. Ring 6, pointer 4, middle 5, pinky enter. 4, 5, 6, enter. 4, 6, 5, enter. Now let's go over the top row positions. Pointer up for 7, back home. Middle finger up for 8, back home. Ring finger up for 9, back home. Pinky enter. Middle 8, pointer 7, ring 9, enter. Ring 9, middle 8, pointer 7, enter. 8, 7, 9, enter. 9, 7, 8, enter. Let's look at the bottom row positions. Pointer down for 1, back home. Middle down for 2, back home. Ring down for 3, back home. Middle 2, pointer 1, ring 3, enter. Pointer 1, ring 3, middle 2, enter. 3, 1, 2, enter. 1, 3, 2, enter. And we can't forget the 0. That's done with the thumb.
تایپ 10 انگشتی و نحوه صحیح قرار گرفتن انگشتان بر روی صفحه کلید. تایپ 10 انگشتی یا تایپ سریع مهارت بسیار مهمی است که در ماشین نویسی، تبدیل اسناد به حالت الکترونیکی و نویسندگی کاربرد دارد. در تایپ 10 انگشتی، تایپ بدون دیدن صفحه کلید و معمولاً با بکارگیری تمام انگشت‌ها و قواعد خاص خود صورت می‌پذیرد. پیش از عصر تایپ رایانه‌ای و در روزگار تایپ با ماشین تحریر، مهارت تایپ سریع و بدون غلط املایی امر بسیار مهمی بود، زیرا در تایپ با ماشین تحریر غلط‌ها را پس از تایپ نمی‌شد به آسانی رفع کرد. سرعت تایپ به هنگام یادداشت برداری و تایپ صورت جلسات هم اهمیت فراوانی دارد. مزایای تایپ سریع یا 10 انگشتی عبارت است از: چشم آزاد است و فرد می‌تواند همزمان با دیدن یک نوشتار مکتوب آن را تایپ کند یا با نگاه کردن به صفحه نمایش غلط‌های تایپی خود را هنگام تایپ متوجه شده و به سرعت اصلاح کند. سرعت تایپ در این نوع بسیار بالاست و حتی سرعت آن از نوشتن با قلم هم بسیار بیشتر است. برای یادگیری مهارت تایپ 10 انگشتی لازم است تا این 3 قدم را انجام دهید. قدم اول، به صفحه کلید نگاه کنید. 2 تا از دکمه‌های صفحه کلید روی خود برجستگی‌های کوچکی دارد که وجود آنها کمک می‌کند تا موقعیت این 2 دکمه را حتی در تاریکی یا بدون نگاه کردن نیز بتوان پیدا کرد. دکمه‌های مذکور حروف F و J هستند. انگشت اشاره دست خود را روی حرف J و انگشت اشاره دست چپتان را روی حرف F بگذارید. قدم دوم، 2 انگشت خود را روی دکمه اسپیس مستقر نموده و 6 انگشت باقی مانده را به ترتیب روی دکمه‌های کنار حروف F و J بگذارید. البته بدون فشردن دکمه‌ها. با مستقر شدن دستتان در این حالت، موقعیت تمامی دیگر کلیدها نسبت به این 8 کلید ردیف وسط قابل دسترس است. لازم به یادآوری است که علت مرتب نبودن دکمه‌های صفحه کلید به ترتیب الفبایی، آرایش آنها به ترتیب میزان کارایی است. در واقع این 8 کلید پرکاربردترین حروف صفحه کلید به شمار می‌روند. قدم سوم، برای تایپ کردن هر کلیدی را که می‌خواهید فشار دهید باید از میان 8 انگشت ردیف وسط فقط 1 انگشت که به آن دکمه نزدیکتر است از جای خود بلند شده و کلید مذکور را فشرده و دوباره به جای خود بازگردد. پس از بازگشت انگشت به موقعیت اولیه، انگشت بعدی جهت فشردن دکمه بعدی از جای خود بلند شده، دکمه را فشرده و به جای خود باز می‌گردد. همینطور هر دکمه ای را که می‌خواهیم فشار دهیم، فقط یک انگشت برای فشردن آن از جای خود حرکت کرده، آن کلید را فشرده و دوباره به جای خود باز می‌گردد.
به نام خدا، سید رضا رفیعی هستم. در این ویدئو میخوام به شما نحوه تایپ 10 انگشتی رو آموزش بدم. تایپ 10 انگشتی تایپی است که ما از هر 10 انگشتمون برای تایپ کردن استفاده میکنیم، برعکس اون چیزی که معمولاً افرادی که تازه میخوان با کامپیوتر کار کنن و حتی میتونیم بگیم اکثر افراد از 2 انگشت یا 3 انگشت حد اکثر استفاده میکنن برای تایپ کردن، که این کار یک اشکالاتی رو به وجود میاره، از جمله اون که سرعت تایپ ما کم میشه و همچنین در هنگام تایپ مجبوریم دائم به صفحه کلید نگاه کنیم و این کار باعث میشه که در تایپمون دچار اشتباه بشیم. اما وقتی شما تایپ 10 انگشتی رو یاد بگیرید، از هر 10 انگشتتون برای تایپ استفاده میکنید و این باعث میشه که به سرعت جای کلیدها رو حفظ بکنید و دیگه نیازی نباشه به صفحه کلید نگاه کنید، بلکه به صفحه نمایش نگاه میکنید و سرعت تایپتون هم خیلی بالا میره. در این حال اشتباهات تایپی هم به شدت کاهش پیدا میکنه، چون در حینی که در حال تایپ هستید صفحه رو میبینید و اگر اشتباهی به وجود بیاد همون موقع اونو رفع میکنید و دیگه لازم نیست دوباره متنتون رو بخونید برای اینکه اشتباهات زیادی رو توش پیدا بکنید. خب، تایپ 10 انگشتی اصول خیلی ساده‌ای داره ولی به کمی تمرین احتیاج داره. اون اصول ساده چجور هست؟ چه کاری باید انجام بدیم؟ شما در هر کامپیوتری اگر به صفحه کلیدش نگاه کنید میبینید که 2 تا از کلیدها، یعنی کلید J یا T فارسی و کلید F یا B فارسی، یک برجستگی روشون هست که این برجستگی در بقیه کلیدها دیده نمیشه. این برجستگی رو وقتی شما کلید رو با نوک انگشتتون لمس کنید به راحتی میتونید تفاوتش رو با کلیدهای دیگه متوجه بشید. خب، ما همین برجستگی ها رو استفاده میکنیم به عنوان نقطه راهنما، به این معنی که 2 تا انگشت اشارهمون رو باید روی این برجستگی ها قرار بدیم. انگشت اشاره دست راستمون رو روی برجستگی J قرار میدیم و انگشت اشاره دست چپمون رو روی برجستگی F قرار میدیم. بقیه انگشت ها به ترتیب چیده میشن روی کلیدهای دیگه. اگر من بخوام به شما نشون بدم، برای مثال این انگشت دست چپم رو گذاشتم روی کلید F، انگشت بعدی کلید D، انگشت بعدی کلید S، انگشت بعدی کلید A. به همین ترتیب برای دست راست هم رفتار میکنیم. این انگشت رو میذاریم روی J، انگشت بعدی روی کلید K، انگشت بعدی و انگشت بعدی. خب، چرا این کار رو انجام میدیم؟ هر کدوم از این انگشت ها یک کلیدهای خاصی بهشون اختصاص پیدا میکنه و با اون انگشت ها باید فقط اون کلیدها رو تایپ کنیم. هر کدوم از این انگشت هایی که ما گذاشتیم روی این ردیف های، روی این کلیدها، یک ردیف رو پوشش میده، به این معنا که این انگشت این ردیف رو پوشش میده، انگشت بعدی این ردیف رو پوشش میده، انگشت بعدی این ردیف رو پوشش میده، انگشت کوچیک این ردیف رو پوشش میده. دست سمت چپ من هم همینطور، انگشت نشانه این ردیف رو پوشش میده، انگشت بعدی این، انگشت بعدی این و انگشت بعدی این ردیف رو پوشش میده. یه استثناء یا 2 تا استثناء وجود داره، توجه داشته باشید. استثناء: انگشت نشانه هم این ردیف رو پوشش میده و هم این ردیف. به همین ترتیب انگشت نشانه سمت چپ هم این ردیف رو پوشش میده هم این ردیف رو. انگشت کوچک هم علاوه بر اون ردیفی که پوشش میده، کلیدهای دیگه رو هم که بقیه انگشت ها بهش دسترسی ندارن پوشش میده، مثل این کلید، مثل کلید اینتر و انگشت دست چپ هم همینطور. علاوه بر این که این ردیف رو پوشش میده، این کلیدها رو هم پوشش میده. انگشت شست هم کلید اسپیس رو پوشش میده. حال اگر بخوایم چیزی رو تایپ بکنیم، دیگه نیازی نیست که به صفحه کلید نگاه بکنیم. چرا؟ چون که بعد از یه مدت کار کردن ما جای کلیدها رو حفظ میکنیم. و به طور اتوماتیک انگشتمون میدونه که چی رو باید کدوم انگشت و کدوم کلید فشار بده. برای مثال من میخوام بابا آب دارد رو تایپ کنم. وقتی میخوام این کارو بکنم این کلید ب هست. ب آ بابا آب داد رو آب د اینجاست. د آ د. توجه داشته باشید که این قسمت دستتون یعنی نرمی کف دستتون که روی این قسمت کامپیوتر قرار میگیره دیگه نباید حرکت بکنه. این حرکت نمیکنه. تنها چیزایی که یکم حرکت میکنن انگشتان ما هست که یکم ممکنه ما دستمون رو بیاریم پایین تر که انگشت مثلا کلید شماره 8 رو فشار بدیم، یا اینکه این انگشتمون حرکت میکنه که دکمه آ رو بزنه، دکمه ل رو بزنه و انگشتای کوچیکمون یک کوچولو حرکت میکنن. ولی توجه باید داشته باشید که وقتی شما این کارو کردید دیگه نباید با این انگشتتون برای مثال خ رو تایپ کنید. این اشتباه هست. همچنین وقتی میخواید سه نقطه رو مثلا تایپ کنید با این انگشت باید این کار رو انجام بدید. دیگه این انگشتی که روی ب هست رو نباید بچرخونید، چون این انگشت فقط این ردیف رو پوشش میده و این ردیف رو پوشش میده. اصول کار تایپ همین هست. بقیه اون به مقداری تمرین احتیاج داره. یعنی شما روزی 10 دقیقه این تمرین رو انجام بدید، بعد از مدتی کاملا مسلط میشید به کلیدهای صفحه کلید و سرعت تایپ شما بسیار زیاد میشه.
در این ویدیو نگاهی داریم بر روی نرم افزار انگشتان طلایی و با هم به بررسی ویژگی‌های این نرم افزار جذاب می‌پردازیم. در واقع شما با این نرم افزار میتونید به راحتی تایپ کردن رو یاد بگیرید و علاوه بر این سرعت و مهارت تایپ خودتون رو هم به طور چشمگیری بهبود بدید. همونطور که مشاهده میکنید این یک نمونه کلی از نرم افزاری که از گرافیک زیبایی بهره میبره و به سادگی میشه به بخش‌های مختلف اون دسترسی داشت. و اما میرسیم به یکی از مهمترین بخش‌های نرم افزار که بخش گزارشگیری هست. همونطور که میبینید یک سری گزارش کامل در واقع به شما بر اساس سرعتتون، دقتتون، خطا و امتیازات داده میشه که میتونید اونها رو در واقع مشاهده بکنید و ببینید که عملکردتون چجوری بوده. این آیکون مرتبط با بازی‌های تایپ که 4 تا بازی برای شما فعلا قرار داده شده که علاوه بر جنبه سرگرمی که داره میتونه به مهارت تایپ شما هم واقعا کمک کنه و در واقع هم شما رو سرگرم کنه هم منجر به بهبود تایپ شما بشه. یکی از ویژگی‌های جالب این نرم افزار ساخت آزمون دلخواه برای خودتون هست که میتونید اون رو ذخیره کنید و یا حتی به صورت آنی به تایپ و تمرین اون بپردازید. شما هم میتونید این نرم افزار رو تهیه کنید و در یک مدت زمان کوتاهی به یک تایپیست حرفه‌ای تبدیل بشید. ممنونم که در این ویدیو با ما همراه بودید. در پناه حق باشید.
Your wrists, but you want to make sure you're in a comfortable position, and you want to bring your 2 index fingers to the F and the J key. Okay, and if you notice on all keyboards, there's a little dot on each of these keys, on the F key and on the J key, that you can feel. All right, none of the other keys have them. There's only one other key that does, and that's over here on the 5 number on the keypad, on the numpad over here. You always want your index fingers to line up here, and you basically just line your fingers up on the keys beside it, the rest of the fingers, and this is your home position. Okay, so in your home position you have 8 keys. You have A, S, D, F on the left hand, and you have you have J, K, L, and semicolon on the right hand. Okay, so this is your home position. This is your home row. All right, and basically what I'm going to show you is that each of your fingers has a specific set of keys that are assigned to it. Okay, so for example, your pinky is going to control the Q, the A, and the Z key, okay, and all from this one position. So we're going to go Q, A, and Z. All right. Now, no other finger is going to ever touch the Q key. No other finger is ever going to touch the A or the Z key, okay? Your pinky controls these three keys, all right? And each finger has specific keys that are assigned to it, all right? So Q, A, and Z for the pinky, the left pinky, rather. And for your left ring finger, you're going to have W, S, X. For the middle finger, on your left hand, you're going to have E, D, and C. And on your left hand index finger, you're going to have, actually there's 6 keys assigned to this one. You're going to have R, F, V, T, G, B. All right? So that is all that is assigned for the left hand, except for all the extra keys that I'll get to in a minute. But as for the right hand, with your right thumb, this is going to be your space bar digit, I guess. Well, it's going to be your space bar finger. I don't know. What do you consider a thumb? I don't know. With your right hand index finger, you're going to be able to control Y, H, N, and U, J, M. And for your right hand middle finger, you're going to have I, K, comma. And for your right hand ring finger, you're going to have O, L, period. And for your right hand pinky, you're going to have P, semicolon, and /, which is also question mark. So those are the letters that are assigned for each finger and thumb. And as for the numbers up on top of the keyboard, you're going to have specific fingers for each of those too. So your pinky is going to control 1. Your left pinky, rather. I made the same mistake the first time. Your left ring finger is going to control 2. Your left middle finger is going to control 3. And your left index finger is going to control 4 and 5. Okay? And as for the right hand, your right index finger is going to control 6 and 7. And your right middle finger is going to control 8. And your right ring finger is going to control 9. And your right pinky is going to control 0. Now, that's a lot of the keys that you're going to be using. A lot of the keys on the left-hand side of the letters, you're going to control with your pinky. So if you're going to capitalize a letter, you're going to use your left pinky to press that and push the key that you want to use. So when I'm typing, first thing I want to do is bring my fingers so that they line up with the F key and the J key. Okay, left hand on the F and right hand on the J. Now, this allows you to basically type without looking at the keyboard. Okay, this is classic touch typing, because as long as you can feel this, you know where you are on the keyboard. Otherwise, you wouldn't know which key is the F and the J key, but having these two little bumps on it, you know where you are. Okay? So let's see what it all looks like. I'm going to go to a website here. It's called howtotype.com, how-to-type.com, and there's a lesson here that is really good, and I find it's very useful for people trying to learn how to type properly, because it basically goes through a bunch of exercises for your mind that will help it get used to using specific fingers for specific keys. Okay, so the first couple of examples, it's having you learn the home row, so you go JJJ, space JJJ, and so on. I'm going to go down, because I know at the bottom they have one that kind of goes through all of them all together. So what I'm going to do is just go through and type through this and show you what it should look like when you are touch typing. So we're going to go AAA, space AAA, space AAA, space. Okay, so finished up, and let's see. Actually, I got a really slow word per minute here, which, by the way, is really cool that it shows you how many words per minute that you're typing. So I got 32, just about 33 here, and 100% accuracy. So I think it slowed down a lot because I was going and correcting the mistakes that I was making. But it shows you your accuracy and it shows you your words per minute. So I made sure that I had no mistakes, so I got 100% accuracy. But it's a really good way to show you, where your. It's basically a way to get your fingers used to where the keys are. It'd be really good for you to go through that without looking at the keyboard and learn how to do it without looking down at the keys. And yeah, so let's go ahead and open up this document again, and I'll just type. I really like to type without looking at the keyboard. By the way, I'm making mistakes left and right here because of the camera setup that I have, and I actually want to take a second here and just show you the setup that I have as far as what you can do for your monitor. If you notice, I have my monitor propped up. That's actually a 3D printing spool, but use whatever you have. I had one of those lying around. I was like, oh, that'll actually help with raising the monitor, and that'll actually help your back and your overall posture by having your head properly aligned at the computer screen. Yeah, so also this keyboard is pretty nice. I got it on Amazon for relatively cheap, and it's got 3 different colors. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you took something from it. Like I said, touch typing and learning how to properly type. It's going to take effort, but it's just such a beneficial skill to know how to do. So you just gotta, you gotta put your time in, like anything. But in the end, you'll gain that time back with just how much more efficient you are with your different typing projects. So take care and have a good one.
It's important to understand that there are different keyboard layouts available to use when typing. The standard keyboard layout that's featured on most home, business, and educational keyboards is called QWERTY because the Q, W, E, R, T, and Y keys are the first 6 letters at the top left of the keyboard. This is the keyboard layout that we'll be covering in this course. But for those of you who like to experiment with different things, there's also a keyboard layout known as Dvorak, which was developed to increase users' typing speeds. Few users have adopted the Dvorak layout because QWERTY has been the standard for decades, but it's important to understand that it does exist along with other, less popular keyboard layouts. The QWERTY layout was initially designed in 1873 for the Scholes and Glidden typewriter, sold by Remington as the Remington No. 1. Based on the mechanical design of the typewriter, if users typed too quickly, the typewriter would jam up. Rumor has it that the QWERTY design was actually intended to slow typers down so that the typewriter wouldn't jam as much. Whether true or not, the QWERTY layout has continued to be the mainstream layout for typing and continues to be featured on most keyboards sold today. The Dvorak layout was designed in 1936 by Dr. August Dvorak. By the 1930s, the mechanics of typewriters had been improved, and there was less concern about them jamming up when users typed too fast. Based on that, the Dvorak layout was designed so that the most commonly used letters are located on the home row, requiring less movement of the fingers and increased typing efficiency. For whatever reason, however, the Dvorak layout was never adopted by the mainstream market, and most users continue to use the QWERTY layout. As I mentioned, we'll be covering QWERTY in this course, but if you hear people mention Dvorak, you know what they're talking about. There are few jobs in today's modern world that don't require using a computer or keyboard in one way or another. Even if you do find a job that doesn't require computer usage, you probably use a computer from time to time in your personal life for doing research or emailing friends and relatives. The amount of time that we're spending on computers nowadays is incredible, and our speed and skill at typing determines how productive and efficient we are on a computer. computer users with proper typing training and skills can accomplish more tasks and be more productive than computer users that are still hunt and peck typing with just 2 or 3 fingers. Think about how much time you've spent on the computer in the last month and what you accomplished during that time. Now, think about what you could have accomplished if you doubled your typing speed. Learning how to type properly can increase your typing speed by double and sometimes even quite a bit more. When I was in college, I was able to write papers almost twice as fast as other students. This wasn't because I was smarter or knew the material better. In the end, it just came down to the fact that I could type much faster than the next person. And I was lucky, because I learned how to type in elementary school, and I can barely remember a time before I knew how to type. This saved me dozens and dozens of hours while I was in college to spend either studying up on the next subject or taking a break to do something more enjoyable. Now, I work with computers and technology every day, and I owe a lot of my computing efficiency to the speed at which I can type and use a keyboard. A report by McKinsey Global Institute and International Data Corp found that the average American spends about an hour per day responding to emails for both work and leisure. Let's assume that that statistic is accurate for a 5-day work week. That means that the average American is spending 20 hours a month responding to emails. If the average American could double their typing speed, they'd be freeing up 10 hours per month and 120 hours per year to spend on other activities. That's a lot of extra free time. Not to mention all of the other tasks that could be accomplished more efficiently because of an increased typing speed. By learning how to type properly, you'll be able to accomplish more tasks at home, at work, and have more time to do the things that you enjoy most. Who knows? Your increased productivity at work may even help lead to your next promotion. Learning how to type properly isn't only about speed and efficiency. It's also about typing in a way that ensures you're not injuring your body or developing complications like carpal tunnel syndrome. When you sit down at your desk, it's important to make sure that your wrists are comfortable. They can be elevated just slightly or touching the tabletop, but there should never be any weight put on the wrists. Elbows should never have less than a right angle to ensure that blood flows properly to the wrists and hands. Your back should be straight and entirely supported, especially the lower back. Your thighs and abdomen should be at a 90-degree angle or slightly leaning towards the computer. Your feet should be uncrossed and flat on the ground in front of you. There should be 20 to 30 inches of space between your eyes and the computer screen, and the screen should be level with your eyes. Documents being used should be positioned vertically with a document holder, instead of laying flat on the desk or table in front of you. If you have a broad chest, consider a split keyboard to allow for an inward-facing angle of the hands and more comfort. Remember to take regular breaks, get up, stretch, and move around. Think about using a stress ball when not typing to help stretch and relax your fingers. If at any time you experience pain or discomfort related to typing or computer usage, make sure that you visit your physician to get a proper diagnosis on what the issue may be coming from. Practicing proper posture while typing and working at your desk will ensure that you avoid aches, pains, other health complications, while at the same time increasing your computing efficiency. Hi, I'm Anson, and welcome to Typing Fundamentals. In this course, I'll go over the basics of typing so you can improve your typing speed and overall computing efficiency. First, we'll go over the benefits of learning how to type properly and the importance of ergonomic typing. Then, we'll look at which fingers are used to type each key on a standard keyboard. Finally, I'll show you how to properly use a numeric keypad for quicker work in financial documents. Whether you're just learning to type for the first time, or if you've already been typing and want to improve your skills, this is the course for you. Let's get started with Typing Fundamentals. I've included a number of exercise files with this course to help you become as efficient as a keyboardist as possible. Included is a color-coded finger chart for you to use if you forget which finger is responsible for which key. It may be a good idea to print this document out and keep it alongside your workspace as you begin the course. We've also included a list of keyboard shortcuts for you to take a look at if you're interested in taking your computing efficiency to the next level. keyboard shortcuts will be officially introduced later on in the course. Most importantly, we've also put together a typing practice module that will measure your speed and accuracy at typing each particular chapter's set of characters. For each chapter in the course that introduces new keys, there's a specific practice module in the exercise files for you to practice the newly learned letters. Additionally, there's a cumulative practice module within each section that will include a combination of all the letters and characters covered thus far in the course. Make sure that you take your time in each practice module. You can go through each one multiple times until you're comfortable. Practice is the most important part of learning how to type efficiently. In order to start typing correctly, it's important to know where all of the fingers should be resting on the keyboard when they're not actively typing a letter. In order to maximize the range your two hands can reach on a keyboard, they should be positioned in the middle of the keyboard. Your left fingers should be resting on the letters A, S, D, and F. And your right fingers should be resting on the keys J, K, L, and semicolon. This set of 8 keys is known as the home row, and it's important to remember this position and become familiar with it, because every time you type a letter, the finger that was used to type it should always move back to the home row. On most keyboards, the F and J keys should have a slight protrusion on top of the key so that your index fingers can easily tell when they're back on the home row. With your fingers on the home row, both of your thumbs should be resting on the space bar. This makes it so that no matter which hand is used to type the last letter in a word, you can use the thumb from the opposite hand to press the space bar. The space bar is the main key that your thumbs will be responsible for on the keyboard. Some people prefer to type the space bar with the same thumb every time, and this doesn't generally create many inefficiencies because of the thumb's limited responsibilities. When typing, it's important to make sure that your home row fingers remain on their respective home row key when not being used. The thumbs, however, may need to open up and move off the spacebar a bit when typing certain letters on the bottom of the keyboard. With your fingers resting on the home row, remember to keep your fingers slightly curved and not to put any weight on your wrists. Remember to sit with good typing posture. When you're ready, go ahead and move over to the exercise files to open your practice file. In practice number 1, we'll only be typing with keys on the home row, and it's a good idea to repeat the practice file 5 or 10 times to help your fingers become more comfortable with this position, especially because it will always be their home position on a QWERTY keyboard. Also, it's important to say the letter that you're typing as you type it. This will help to aid your body in creating muscle memory for each particular keystroke. At this point, it's time to expand the home row a little bit and give our index fingers and right pinky finger some extra responsibilities. With your fingers lightly resting on the home row, you'll notice that there are 2 keys in the center of the keyboard that break the home row into its left and right sides, the G and H keys. These keys are typed with the index finger closest to the corresponding key. For example, the left index finger is used to type the G key, and the right index finger is used to type the H key. Remember, once a keystroke is made, the finger should always return to its initial position on the home row. As you can see, when I type the letter G, my index finger moves slightly to the right to rest on the G key. All of my other fingers remain in their home row position, and after the G key is pressed, my index finger returns to the home row. The same goes for the H key, as I type it with my right index finger. There's one last character on the home row that we still haven't talked about. The apostrophe key is located just to the right of the semicolon key on the right side of your keyboard. This is actually an important key when it comes to typing because it's used quite a bit and almost always comes in the middle of a word like your, there, or can't, as well as many other words denoting possession. This character is typed with the right hand's pinky finger, simply by moving the pinky finger slightly to the right of its home row position. As always, your fingers should remain in their home row position and the pinky should return after the apostrophe has been typed. Now that we've gone over some additional keys in the home row, go ahead, open up your exercise file, and complete the practice lessons related to this chapter in the course. Remember, if you're having trouble with a particular letter or set of letters, you can perform the practice file as many times as you'd like. until you feel comfortable with the home row. Now that we've practiced typing the keys in the home row, it's time to branch out a bit and learn some additional keys. The keys Q, W, E, R, and T are all typed with the fingers of the left hand. You'll notice that these keys are positioned slightly to the left of their lower counterparts A, S, D, F, and G. This is done on purpose to account for the curvature of our fingers. As you can see on the keyboard, the left pinky finger is used to type the Q key, the left ring finger to type the W key, the left middle finger to type the E key, and the left index finger types both the R and T keys. It's important to remember that as soon as a finger is used to type a key, it should always return to its home row key so it's ready to type the next letter, wherever it may be. It's also important that when typing a letter with a particular finger, that your other fingers, the ones not being used, remain in their home row position. This may be a bit difficult at first, but try your best to keep the other fingers at rest, and it will become easier with practice and time. Let's take a look at what it should look like when typing the Q, W, E, R, and T keys. When I type the Q key, notice I just move my pinky slightly up and my hand naturally takes that finger a bit to the left and onto the Q key. My other fingers remain in place on the S, D, and F home row keys. When I type the W key with my ring finger, my other fingers remain at rest on the home row and my ring finger returns to its home row position on the S key once the W has been typed. As you can see, the same technique holds true when I type the E key with my middle finger, and then the R and T keys are both typed with my left index finger. At this point in the course, we've covered how to type 9 different keys with just the fingers on our left hand. Go ahead and open up your exercise file now and begin practicing the keys we just went over. There should be 2 parts to your exercise file for this section. One that focuses on practicing the Q, W, E, R, and T keys, and then a cumulative practice area that will include the 13 keys that we've gone over thus far, the home row, plus the Q, W, E, R, and T keys. It's a good idea to spend some time practicing these keys before moving on to the next chapter in the course. Remember to say each letter as you type it. Now let's take a look at how to type the Y, U, I, O, and P keys with our right hand. Typing these keys is very similar to typing the Q, W, E, R, and T keys that we discussed in the last movie, but we're just using the opposite hand. Remember again, once you type a letter, that finger should always return to the home row. The Y and U keys are both typed using our right index finger. The I key is typed using our right middle finger, the O key by using our right ring finger, and the P key by using our right pinky finger. Let's go ahead and take a look at an example of how these keys should be typed. When I type the Y and U keys, my finger returns to the home row directly afterward, and while I'm typing the keys, my other fingers remain at rest on their respective home row keys. The same goes for when I type the I key with my middle finger. I type the O key with my ring finger, and the P key using my pinky finger. As I mentioned earlier in the course, the pinky finger usually takes the most practice because it's often used less than our other fingers in our daily activities. It's important to make sure that you're practicing the pinky fingers as much as possible because as we move forward in the course, you'll notice that the pinky fingers are responsible for the entire left and right side of your keyboard and are used to type more keys than any other finger. Once you're comfortable with which fingers are used to type the Y, U, I, O, and P keys, go ahead and open up your exercise file and begin to practice in the appropriate lesson. Remember, you can use each practice session multiple times until you feel comfortable typing the particular keys. Also, don't forget to refer to the finger alignment chart provided in the exercise files if you forget which finger is used for which key. In this movie, we'll look at how to type the Z, X, C, V, and B keys underneath the home row and on the left side of our keyboard. Notice that these keys are slightly aligned to the right of the left-hand home row keys to help account for the shape of our hand. Our hands have some curvature to them, and it might take some time to get used to moving your fingers below and slightly to the right instead of directly below or to the left. To type the Z key, we use our left pinky finger, just like the Q and A keys. The X key is typed with the left ring finger, like the W and S keys. The C key is typed with the left middle finger, just below the E and D keys. And the index finger is responsible for both the V and the B keys. When typing these letters below the home row, it's okay to open up your hand position a little and move other fingers off the home row temporarily. For example, when you type the C key with your middle finger, the index finger and thumb can move off the F and spacebar to allow for easier access to the C key. Just make sure they return home once the letter has been typed. Notice that, as I discussed earlier, if you look at the vertical line of keys each finger is responsible for, QAZ for the left pinky as an example, the line is slightly tilted to the left. For these keys, Z and X are usually more difficult when first starting out because the pinky and ring fingers tend to need more practice than the index and middle fingers. Practice these keys using the exercise file lessons. Remember to always return to the home row once you've finished typing a particular letter. The N, M, comma, period, and / keys are located on the bottom right side of the keyboard underneath the right hand's home row position. We will use our right index finger to type the N and M keys. Moving the right index down and slightly to the left brings it to the N key position, and down and slightly to the right brings it to the M key position. The next two keys are some of the most commonly used keys on a keyboard. The comma key is typed with the right middle finger by moving the middle finger down and slightly to the right. The period key is typed with the right ring finger, again down and slightly to the right. The final key we're introducing in this video is the / key, typed with the right pinky finger. It's a good idea to spend some extra time when practicing the period key, because you'll be typing the period key in nearly every sentence. Because it's typed with the ring finger, this key may be difficult to learn at first. But because it's so commonly used, you should become comfortable typing it after a few days of regular practice. The / key is not used nearly as much as the comma or period keys, but it's still important to learn because it's used in website addresses, which are commonly typed when using the internet. Pay attention to the period key that was introduced in this chapter because many people have a habit of typing this key with their index finger, and if muscle memory has already been established for this key, extra practice will be necessary to retrain your fingers. Once you're comfortable with the fingers that are used to type the N, M, comma, period, and / keys, go ahead and open up your exercise file to begin practicing these keys. There are two shift keys located on most standard keyboards, one on the left side of the keyboard and one on the right side of the keyboard. This allows users to quickly capitalize letters when typing by pressing shift with the pinky finger of the opposite hand that's being used to type the actual letter key. For both hands, the shift key is typed using the pinky finger. Luckily, the shift key is nice and big, so once you learn the initial pinky movement for this key, it shouldn't be too hard to accurately land on the shift key. This is a really important aspect of proper typing because, like the period key, the shift key will be used in nearly every sentence. It's important to make sure that you're actually using the shift key when typing and not using the caps lock key, as that will greatly slow down your typing efficiency. Let's go over some examples of using the shift key. If we wanted to start a sentence off with the word the, we would move our right pinky finger to the right shift key and hold it down. Once your right pinky is pressing down the shift key, you can type the T key with your left hand, and then return both hands to the home row and finish typing the rest of the word. This is a good word to practice typing because it's one of the most commonly typed words. A good example for using the left shift key is when you're typing the word you at the beginning of a sentence. For this word, we'll position our left pinky finger on the left shift key and hold it down. With the shift key being held down, we can move our right index finger up to the Y key to type a capital Y. As both hands return to their home row positions, we can finish the word by typing the O with our right ring finger and the U with our right index finger. It's easy to get into the habit of using the same shift key for all capital letters, regardless of which side of the keyboard they're located on. It's best to avoid this habit because it will slow down your typing efficiency when using the shift key on the same side of the keyboard as the letter key you're typing. It shouldn't be too difficult to practice using the shift keys as they're used so much when composing documents. Once you've done some practicing on your own, go ahead and open up the exercise file to practice typing short sentences in proper nouns using the shift keys. Remember, every time you're typing on a computer, you should be practicing your typing skill. The Tab and Delete keys, or backspace on Windows, are two very important keys to learn for using a computer in today's world. The Delete key has always been important, for obvious reasons. Typos happen that need to be corrected. The Tab key isn't used as much for its original purpose, as many forms of writing no longer require an indent at the beginning of a paragraph. It is used for another very important reason, however. When filling out information on online forms, the Tab key will always take you down to the next field in the form. For example, if an online form is asking for your first name, last name, and email address, you can type your first name in the first box, but then instead of clicking with the mouse in the second text box, you can simply tap the Tab key to go to the next field. This method of filling out forms will save you lots of time online. Also, to return to a previous text box, you can hold the Shift key and press Tab at the same time. The Tab key is located towards the left middle of the keyboard, just above the caps lock key. To type this key, we will use our left pinky finger. All it takes is a slight movement up and to the left to hit the Tab key. With your developing skills as a typist and your knowledge of the ever-important Tab key, you can fill out online forms in seconds. The Delete key is located at the top right corner of the keyboard and is typed using the right pinky finger. Stretch that finger all the way up and to the right to delete an unwanted character. It's okay if some of your fingers leave the home row position when typing this key, as long as they return there afterward. The numeric keypad is the rectangle group of numbers and operators located to the right side of large keyboards. It can also come as a standalone keypad separate from the main keyboard on certain devices. Not everyone will benefit from using the numeric keypad, but it's very important in the financial industry where numerous figures are entered into spreadsheets. The numeric keypad has its own home row position where the fingers will rest when not actively typing. The home row for the numeric keypad is the 4, 5, 6, plus, and 0 keys. The right hand is generally used to operate the numeric keypad, and the right index finger should rest on the 4 key. The right middle finger rests on the 5 key, the right ring finger on the 6 key, the pinky on the plus key, and the right thumb on the 0 key. As when typing on the main keyboard, fingers should always return to their home row positions after typing a key. As we'll see in this chapter of the course, each finger is responsible for a vertical column of keys, excluding the 0 key, which the thumb is solely responsible for. The row above the number keys may differ depending on the design of your keyboard. We'll go over the standard keys for both Mac and PC, but keep in mind that your finger is responsible for the key that's in its vertical column, no matter what the key is. Go ahead and open up the exercise file for this section of the course to begin practicing and becoming comfortable with the home row keys on the numeric keypad. In addition to the 4 key, the index finger is also responsible for the clear, 7, and 1 keys on Mac-designed numeric keypads. On numeric keypads designed for Windows computers, the clear key is generally replaced by the numlock key. As you can see, the index finger is responsible for the leftmost column of keys on the numeric keypad, except for the 0 key, which the thumb will always be responsible for. Finger movements on the numeric keypad are generally not as difficult to perform as on the main keyboard because of its condensed size. The most difficult aspect of learning the numeric keypad is simply memorizing where each key is and creating muscle memory between your fingers and the correct key locations. As with the main keyboard, other fingers should remain at rest on their home row keys when another finger is being used to type a character. Go ahead and practice typing the clear or numlock key, as well as the 7, 4, and 1 keys with your right index finger to become more comfortable with their locations. Then open up your exercise file to this section of the course for additional practice. The middle finger on the numeric keypad is responsible for the second column of keys, again excluding the 0 key. That means that you'll use the middle finger to type the equals key on the keyboard I'm using, 8, 5, and 2. The ring finger may try to come off its home row position when typing with the middle finger, which is okay. Just do your best to reduce its movement, and as your fingers become more accustomed, you should have less trouble keeping the ring finger at rest. When you're comfortable, open up your exercise file to the practice section of this chapter and begin practicing the middle finger's column of keys. When using the numeric keypad, the ring finger actually has more responsibilities than any other finger. On the keyboard I'm using, the ring finger is responsible for the vertical column of characters /, 9, 6, 3, and period. This is the only finger that will be responsible for 5 different characters on the numeric keypad, so it's a good idea to give this finger a little extra practice when first starting out. The most difficult character for the ring finger to type on the keypad is probably the period key, because it's down at the very bottom of the keypad. For this key, make sure that you're curling your ring finger back towards the bottom of the keypad and then extend it fully to reach all the way down to period. This actually works out pretty well, because the ring finger is responsible for the period key on the regular keyboard as well, and both periods are typed with a very similar downward direction movement. Practice typing the characters the ring finger is responsible for on your own. Once you're ready, open up your exercise files and begin practicing in there. The pinky finger is used to type the rightmost column of characters on the keypad. On the keyboard I'm using, the pinky is responsible for the asterisk, the minus key, the plus key, and the enter key. The one that will probably be used the most is the enter key. When working in a financial spreadsheet, the enter key is typed any time a formula has finished being entered or when you want to move down to the next row in the document. Although the pinky is at its home row position on the plus key, it's a very fluid motion for the pinky finger to move slightly down to quickly strike the enter key. When first typing the asterisk or minus key with the pinky, you may need to allow your hand to rotate counterclockwise just slightly. And that's okay, as long as you always remember to bring all of your fingers back to their home row position. In the exercise file for this section of the course, we'll be working on typing out some mathematical equations to aid in getting comfortable with the numeric keypad using some realistic scenarios. Learning to properly type the number keys across the top of the keyboard can be more challenging than the letter keys because of their distance from the home row. All of the number keys are located 2 rows above the home row, and because of their distance, it's easy to hit a different key than intended. When first starting out with the number keys, you'll probably need to look at the keyboard as you type and build up muscle memory. Let's look at these keys. The key just to the left of the 1 key, known as the grave accent, is seldomly used, but it's typed using the left pinky finger. The 1 key is also typed using the left pinky finger. When typing this key, you may have to allow your hand to rotate slightly clockwise in order to reach the 1 key successfully. The 2 key is typed using the left ring finger. Don't worry if one of your other fingers leaves their home row position slightly when typing the 2 key. This is natural and should improve as your finger muscles become more limber. The 3 key is typed using the left middle finger. Try to keep your other fingers rested on their home row when typing this key, and you'll notice that the middle finger will need to be fully extended to strike the 3 key. Both the 4 and 5 keys are typed using the left index finger. These 2 keys are probably the easiest of the keys covered in this movie. Just remember to move the index finger up into the left for the 4 key and up into the right for the 5 key. To make it easier, allow your other fingers to curl up on their home row keys when typing 4 and 5. It's especially important to return all of your fingers to their home row position when learning these keys, because it can be easy to just let your entire hand rest on the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 keys when practicing. Doing this defeats the purpose because your fingers need to practice the new movements for them to gain flexibility. Number keys are used on a regular basis when typing, and learning just the letter keys on a keyboard will limit your potential typing efficiency. When you're ready, open up your exercise file and begin to practice the keys covered in this section. You may need to practice this section more times than others because it's more of a stretch for your fingers than the letter keys are. The 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0 keys are typed in the same fashion as the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 keys, but with the right hand instead of the left hand. The 6 and 7 keys are typed using the right index finger. Like when typing the 4 and 5 keys with your left hand, when you stretch your index finger to reach these keys, you may need to bend your other fingers more to allow them to curl up on top of their home row key positions. The 8 key is typed using the right middle finger and can be struck by extending the middle finger directly up and to the left. The 9 and 0 keys are probably the most difficult keys to master in this section because they're typed using the pesky ring and pinky fingers. The 9 key is typed using the right ring finger, and the 0 key is typed using the right pinky finger. Like when typing the 1 and 2 keys with the left hand, it's okay if your hand rotates a bit counterclockwise, and 1 or 2 of your other fingers need to move slightly away from the home row when typing these keys. As time goes on and you put in more practice, try to be aware of what your other fingers are doing to keep them grounded on the home row as much as possible. After you've gone over these keys a few times, open up your exercise file and begin practicing the 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0 keys. The open bracket, close bracket, backslash, minus, and equals keys may be some of the more rarely used keys on our keyboard, but it's still important to know where they are and how to type them. It's probably a good idea to make sure that you're comfortable with all of the letter and number keys before concentrating on this set of keys. All of these keys are located on the right side of the keyboard and are typed using the right pinky finger. Let's take a look. The open bracket key is located to the right of the P key and is typed with a pretty straightforward movement of the pinky finger up and to the right. The close bracket key is located one more key to the right, and that key is followed by the backslash key. Once you're comfortable with these 3 keys, try practicing them without looking at the keyboard so you can get a good idea of how the pinky finger movement is unique for each key. The minus and equals keys are located on top of the keyboard to the right of all the number keys. These keys take a bit more of a stretch from the pinky finger, and you'll probably need to rotate your hand position counterclockwise to properly reach these 2 keys. These keys are difficult to type without moving your other fingers off the home row, and you should pay extra attention to reduce the movement of your other fingers as much as possible. When you're ready, go ahead and open up your exercise file and access the section associated with this chapter of the course to begin practicing these newly learned keys. Once you know which finger is used to type each key, practice is the primary way to improve your typing skills. Remember to always be conscious of which finger you're using to type each key, and every time you need to type, use that as an opportunity to improve your skills. The more you type, the more comfortable you'll become, and the more muscle memory you'll build. When you've completed all of the keyboarding lessons and practice modules, it's time to retake the typing assessment that I mentioned in the beginning of the course. Remember, if you've been working on correcting bad habits with this course, your typing speed may actually decrease in the short term, but once you've recreated new muscle memories, your speed and efficiency should start increasing. Compare your score from before taking the course to your score after taking the course. There are also a number of free typing games available online for you to practice your keyboarding skills. My favorite is a version of Space Invaders. It's available at freetypinggame.net, and you may even find my name on the leaderboards there. The most beneficial aspect of using this website is that before you begin your game, you can specify which letters on the keyboard you'd like to practice, or even choose to concentrate on a particular finger or hand. This is great for typists that feel comfortable with most of the keyboard, but need some practice in a few specific areas. Thanks for watching the course, and I hope you've been able to improve your computing efficiency. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can reach out on Twitter @AnsonAlex.